ActionAid, an international humanitarian organization, has reported that citizens in Gaza are facing an extreme struggle to survive, with many now surviving on less than a single loaf of bread per day. In a statement released, the organization said many families rely on community kitchens as their last hope for a single meal each day. However, several of these kitchens have been forced to shut down, leaving people without any source of food. According to ActionAid, only 4 bakeries are currently operational in Gaza, managed by the World Food Programme. Yet the demand for bread has grown so high that people are forced to begin queuing outside bakeries and flour trucks as early as 3 a.m. to secure their share. The municipality of Bethlehem has announced that Christmas this year would be limited to prayer and religious ceremonies as a rejection to the injustices against the Palestinian people. Speaking at a press conference, the local governor also expressed frustration at the international community's silence and called for a halt to the Israeli violations against the Palestinians. Pilgrims from around the world used to fill the square outside the 4th century Church of the Nativity during the Christmas season. However, the October 7 attack and the war in Gaza have driven tourists away from this UNESCO World Heritage endangered site. Hamas and 2 other Palestinian groups have said that a Gaza ceasefire deal with Israel is closer than ever, provided Israel does not impose new conditions. The groups have stated that the closeness in a joint statement issued after talks in Cairo. Last week, indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas, mediated by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States, were held in Doha, rekindling hope of an agreement. UNRWA has condemned the forced entry and presence of Palestinian armed actors in its health center in Jenin camp in the occupied West Bank. The organization said this happened on December 17th, adding it has been unable to access the center and does not presently have control over the facility and its use. Gaza's civil defense has urged the international community to put pressure on Israel to implement standard procedures for dealing with corpses in times of war. The civil defense also called for Israel to allow civil defense crews to retrieve dead bodies for a dignified burial. It also added that Israel has destroyed all heavy digging equipment and devices for the civil defense teams to reach those killed. The Israeli army has said it's investigating why its air defense interceptors have failed intercepting a ballistic missile from Yemen. More than a dozen people were injured from the failed interception of a ballistic missile launched from Yemen. This was the 3rd incident of its kind just this week. The ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza continues to escalate, with severe shortages of food, medicine, and basic necessities. International calls for aid and the protection of civilians grow louder amid the conflict.